All right, so today is Wednesday, the 28th of May 2025. Morning, Mr. Okay, Ochuko. I don't know if it's a male or a female, but you're welcome all the same. Biodun Joshua Corey, good morning. So, in the course of the night, there were a lot of news events that were released, from Australia and New Zealand. 2:30 a.m. there was CPI from Australia, which came out good for the AUD. And 3 a.m. there was official cash rate, which is also can be known called interest rate from New Zealand, and actual came out equal to forecasts, and it was followed by the RBNZ monetary policy statement and RBNZ state rate statement. So those are the events that took place. Okay, 3:10 a.m. that was FOMC member Waller's speech, and at 4 a.m. that was RBNZ press conference. So these were the events that happened in the course of the night, as in night as Nigerian night time. So this morning we don't have any tradable fundamental events, but no fundamental event this morning session at all. The next event will come up by 3 p.m., which is the Richmond Manufacturing Index. And later today by 7 p.m., there will be FOMC meeting minutes. It's not the main FOMC, but we may still see some volatility, in that event. And later tonight by 10 p.m., there will be RBNZ Governor Orkisby speech. So let's take note. So since we don't have any fundamentals, let's just go over straight to the technicals and see what the market holds for today. All right, so for the dollar, I remember telling us on Monday that as on Monday morning, the analysis, the dollar wasn't too clear. So it wasn't too clear. But later on, there was clarity where, as I yesterday, I gave a bullish outlook. And I remember clearly telling us that even though we're bullish, that we should expect some retracement on the dollar. And we're just right about, experiencing that retracement. This is the USD JPY. I remember giving us this level, this zone, this resistance zone that we might experience some retracement around that zone. And, it looks like that is already about playing out because the last 4 hour candle was a bullish rejection candle, and currently we're seeing some sign of reversal, or let me say retracement, with the current 4 hour candle that we're seeing on the USD JPY. Now, to further clarify this, if I use my Fibonacci tool, you will see that the current, both the past 4 hour candle and the current 4 hour candle, both of them eat, apart from the fact that there was a resistance, they equally eat Fibonacci 38.2, which is equally acting as a resistance, at this point, giving a double confirmation that we are expecting a downward movement of price, just like I anticipated yesterday. So this morning session, we might have a kind of a slight bearish movement. It's called a retracement. Retracement is a temporary movement of price against established trend. So we might experience a retracement on the USD JPY, this morning session. So can we trade it? Well, if you want to, but then I believe you should have the understanding that you are only trading it for just a few pips, maybe some 10, 15, 20 pips max, and you are out. So currently, this is what it's looking like on the 1 hour time frame. And if things go as I'm seeing, this may end up forming a head, a shoulder, and we might experience a drop. So anytime a new candle in the course of today breaks out below this neckline region, this will be the neckline region. If you have a new candle open below this level, you may just trigger a sell, and please make sure you watch it closely and catch just about 10, 15, 20 pips. Or better still, if you don't want to stress yourself, just wait for the retracement to be complete, because when the retracement takes place, this is what is likely going to happen. Price will come down, and then later we'll see the major move. The major move is still a bullish one, and at that point it will have completed the inverse head and shoulder pattern, which will see price launch out much bigger. So we're seeing a retracement on the dollar at the moment, so please trade with a lot of caution. And since we're expecting that retracement on the dollar, The same thing is still applicable to the USD CHF. That one likewise, you can see the current 4 hour candle. It looks like price is, going a little bit downwards. It's the same thing happening. It's happening across board. So USD JPY is experiencing its own. USD CHF also, it's experiencing it. And that means that for pairs like GBP USD, Euro USD, those ones will have some slightly bullish retracement. So this one too will come down a little and form an inverse head and shoulder and break out. Now, like I always say, sometimes the pattern may not work exactly. I'm just being futuristic in my mind, being that I trade patterns. But even if that is not what happens, eventually we'll experience a retracement and a breakout for price to continue going in the bullish direction. So the main trend is still bullish. Whatever thing you are seeing as a sell now is a short-term one. So if at all you choose to trade it, maybe you want to enter on the 15 minutes time frame. It's not a trade you want to sit on for too long. Just pick a few pips and you're out of it because price could reverse at any time to the long-term trend, which is bullish. So also, because of time, I won't go into the other AUD, BGBP, and the others. We'll just go straight to gold because I know we have quite a number of gold traders on the platform. So the same thing is still applicable to gold. Dollar is the trend is bullish, but is experiencing retracement. I said yesterday that gold is bearish. Will hit a support at this level, and we may see some bullish retracement. We don't know how far that slightly bullish will go, but then I will advise you even wait for gold. I will just advise you wait for the main breakout to happen because gold can be volatile, can be volatile and maybe sometimes erratic because of geopolitical issues could trigger any move. So for gold, whether it goes up or not, what you are trying to look out for in gold is just wait for a clear breakout below the support zone and you can ride the trend downwards because gold clearly also is forming what looks a lot like a head and shoulder pattern to trigger a downward move. So currently there is no significant trade we are waiting except for those who want to scalp with the retracement and that should be those who know how to do it. If you do not, just don't bother. Wait for the main trend for a clear breakout before you trigger a buy for USDJPY, USCGF, or a sell, for gold. Three things we do in trading: we buy, we sell, we wait. This is one of the times where we have to wait for a clear formation before we take the next action. And Euro AUD is one of the instruments I analyzed on Monday for the week. Yeah, it was a swing setup. Price has not moved as much as expected in the bearish direction that we gave the analysis on. But then it looks like things, it looks like the setup is beginning to take shape gradually. Just a second. All right, so this is a Euro AUD, on the 4 hour time frame. As at Monday, price was just somewhere around here, but then we saw some bullish movement between Monday and even yesterday. So we still have the rising wedge pattern on the 4 hour. We have the descending trend line where price is bouncing off and the resistance. So technically, we still have that bearish outlook on the Euro AUD. So now, because the majority of the news has taken place in the night, the effect of that news could still, trigger some movement in the market this morning because market moves based on fundamentals. Anytime there's no fundamental event, the market is quiet even though there is no direct fundamental to trade between now and afternoon, but the fact is that there was a fundamental release in the course of the night. So that fundamental release could still give some ripple effect, which could move the market, this morning. So for Euro AUD, we are still very much in line with the analysis of a bearish breakout. So whenever price breaks out below this level, we may be looking at taking a sell on the Euro AUD. So we're still bearish on the Euro AUD. Likewise, GBP card, that's another one I gave on Monday. So this one seems to be in a kind of a range at the moment. We're still anticipating a bearish breakout below that support level to trigger a sell. Most of the setup this morning, they are just a an update on earlier setup, which is still, trying to mature. However, there was a setup, or were a couple of setup I also gave on Monday, which has gone in the line of the analysis, and one of it is NAS 100. I remember telling us on Monday that NAS 100 was going to form an inverse head and shoulder pattern, shoulder, head, second shoulder, and it has happened just exactly in line with the analysis that was given on Monday. And this is it. It has done what we anticipated it was going to do. And so far, so good. It has gone as high as about 157 pips between Monday and now. And likewise, DJ30 is another one. I said both of them, actually were facing the same direction. All right, DJ32, I remember telling us about this, and it's still the same inverse head and shoulder, and we've experienced the breakout. We've seen the breakout on both of them. I said it that you can look at it either from 1 hour or 4 hour. It's still the same. It's still the same inverse head and shoulder. And this one has done about 235 pips between Monday and now. All right, so this morning we don't really have a clear-cut signal yet. Market is still trying to put itself together, but just put your attention on those specific instruments I've mentioned, where we're expecting breakout for a further continuation. So somebody is asking me to check a catch CHF. Oyilowo is asking me to check catch CHF. All right, so this is catch CHF on the daily time frame. You can see a downward moving trend line and a previous resistance. No. Okay. This is a 4 hour. So we have a valid resistance here. So on the daily, we have a descending trend line. On the 4 hour, we have a valid resistance. So this zone here is a confluence zone from where we expect, a bearish movement in price. Let's take it down again to 1 hour time frame. All right, so this is just a high probability setup. This is a high probability setup. So by the next 1 hour candle or anytime, we should not neglect the fact that we also have a support level that is, forming right here. All right. So whenever a new candle breaks out below this level, you can trigger a sell on the CAD CHF. That's for Oyelowa. And any other person that wants to trade this, it's a high probability setup. Just wait for a new, it's not yet time to trigger a sell. There needs to be a clear breakout. There needs to be a clear breakout. Clear breakout, what I mean by that is that there needs to be a new candle below this support zone for you to trigger a sell. Let there be a new candle below this small rectangle, which is acting as a support. So when a new candle opens below that, then you can safely trigger a sell on the catch CHF. And I tell you, it's a high probability setup. And you can look at taking profit. This will be Fibonacci 50, should give you about 13 pips. Fibonacci 61.8 can give about 25 pips. So between 30 and 25 pips is achievable on this instrument in the course of today. So that's more or less like a signal. It's not fully mature yet, but when the breakout happens, yes, definitely to be a mature one, to take. So 13.25, that's about 38 pips can be gotten on this instrument. It's not a volatile instrument, that's why it looks like the pips is small. It's usually not volatile, but then this 13 to 25 pips, which is a combined of about 38 pips, is achievable on the CAD CHF today. So just watch out for it. All right, so I'll take another question or request as we begin to round up. Okay, I don't think there's any other person with the request, so we need to come to the end of this analysis session. Okay, Benedicta, GBP, JPY. All right, so let's see what we're having on GBP, JPY. Now, GBP, JPY on the higher time frame is also having, some good setup, but then it looks like on the daily it's still ranging. If we started out from the weekly time frame, we can clearly see we have a descending trend line with a resistance. This gives us a form of a confluence around this place to drive price downwards. And most of the candle that closed some couple of weeks back is a rejection candle. So that effect can still be strong enough to drive price downward. But then on the daily time frame, we can see that price currently is trading within that resistance zone. The current daily candle is showing some sign or reversal. In fact, in the big picture, what I was seeing on this instrument yesterday is actually more like a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and we should experience a massive bearish pre, but it's still subject uh to review. You still need to patiently wait to see that happen. But that's just what I'm seeing in the medium term kind of. So this is 4 hour and this is 1 hour. Now 1 hour is not showing as if there is sign of a tradable opportunity at the moment. But this is what I can say. I can draw my trend line on that side. We're looking out for a bearish breakout, but from the look of things, even if it's going to break out, it may not fit into our trading style yet. But this is a possibility I can see around this instrument. We may experience price go up here to form a double top pattern, then now break out. That's the closest I can see at the moment with a sharp drop we've seen in the last few hours around this region. Price may just, you can see it looks like it wants to go up. Yeah, it may go up to form the second uh top. This is a high, they make a second high, then from there drop out. There is a bearish sentiment. Only price is trying to pull itself together to break out in that bearish direction. So I still hold on to a bearish outbreak on GBP but I strongly perceive price may retrace first to form the second high before finally dropping. Now, if that happens, you are going to look for taking a sell whenever price breaks this neckline region. That's when you will look at taking a sell. So we are still bearish on GBP, but we are waiting for the right formation before we trigger the sell. All right, so that's going to be all this morning. Thanks for joining. We'll see you again by 12:30 p.m. Don't forget, when we drop the link, just join us by 12:30 p.m. for the afternoon session analysis, from where we'll give you any setup you can see also and update you on ongoing setup. Do have a great day ahead. Bye bye.